Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the stock market. Just need to unmute my mic there. It is Thursday, September 16th. We're going to talk about the SPY, what's going on with that, GameStop, and some technical analysis, a bunch of different option plays. We were scalping, day trading, in and out. It was fun. Anyway, sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. And we also have Twitter you can follow us on at Happy Money YT. I watched that, or no, I didn't. I tried to watch the space launch yesterday, but I missed it. I hope they're okay. At Happy Money YT on the Twitter, and then here's our Discord. Jump on there. A lot of information getting thrown out in there. I'm learning a lot on our Discord. I hope I contribute as much as I'm taking. But yeah, so today, believe it or not, it's just what I said. With a lot of volatility. But yeah, we basically just consolidated today. It's SPY's at 0.15%. We're right in the middle. Big doji on the downside. I'm not sure. I think I still think this drop is different than these other ones, just based on these candles and this price action. So I think this is definitely the top that we hit here. At this point, I'm still not thinking new all-time highs. I think we consolidate maybe tomorrow and then maybe sell off into close, or maybe a little rally tomorrow, but still kind of consolidating. On the hourly here, it's kind of bullish. It's got kind of a head and shoulders, and Huck actually pointed out the futures were bullish right about here, and so I was like, that's interesting. So I looked at the chart, and then yeah, I noticed head and shoulders, and we almost had green over the 9 at that point. We definitely had a bullish MACD, so I was like, all right, whatever, I'll get some SPY calls, and if I lost on them, I was just gonna ban Huck. So it's a win-win for me either way, honestly. Those worked out pretty well though, 100%. I closed them out up here and didn't want to hold them until tomorrow, just because I don't have to. Shout out Donaro for scalping options where I just feel like I have to hold them all the time. A lot of psychological training, mental strengthening going on in Discord today. But yeah, on the daily, yeah, I think it's still setting up for failure, this SPY. It really, in some sense, it could just be dropping below this 180, bouncing back, and using that as kind of a resistance now. That's actually what it really looks like on the hourly. Even though these indicators are showing bullish, it kind of held that resistance. So maybe consolidate tomorrow, and then, or down tomorrow a little bit, and then down, I think, next week. It looks like that coincides with GME possibly rallying next week. I don't know. We'll see. We can't shake this bearish MACD. Like I was saying back here, it seems like we might just start consolidating until Friday. And if you were watching the chart today, you'd say this was not consolidation. Actually, today was consolidation. If you just didn't watch it, you're like, yeah, consolidation. It's at almost 1%. So 0.8% is pretty much flat. Took a wild ride to get there, but pretty much flat. Max pain this week still 200, so I think it is actually. I haven't checked. That can change. That actually can change. See if it has. Nope, still 200. So yeah, I don't know. This bearish MACD still sketches me out. Today gave us a green over the 9 moving average, but and we've held this. Yeah, I'm still expecting something, because this is definitely still bearish there. But on the hourly, yeah, I mean, today was a wild ride. I'll go over the options. We scalped, we flipped, we sold premium, we bought premium. I mean, this whole time was crazy. We're getting hyped up. I'd calls up like 100% in just a short while on that. And then also, actually, if you remember earlier, I was saying it's kind of like we're just making higher highs and higher lows, and sure enough, here we are, just higher highs and higher lows. But that daily MACD, there's too much momentum on the way down. This isn't enough to flip it. So, and then it's just solidified by this drop coming into close. So yeah, we had a big rally today, all the way up to 216. Higher highs, higher lows, good on the hourly. Will this do the same thing tomorrow? Possibly. possibly we'll kind of come down here, and or maybe not. Maybe we'll just kind of rally tomorrow, because the hourly MACD is staying pretty bullish, and we do have a pretty big red under the 9 here. But just like it happened here, might just do a little consolidating, and then rub a little bit on that line, and then might rip tomorrow. As far as a rollover, I don't know. I don't know if it was happening today. It seemed like it happened when we were ripping up, because we were also inversing the SPY like heavy. It's actually really crazy. That's what gave me good conviction today to get calls, but then thankfully I didn't diamond hand them. Was just that we were inversing SPY, but it was a different kind of inverse. It wasn't the inverse that I've referred to where we are shooting up and SPY is tanking. It's been much slower, and we've seen that actually a couple times this week, where it's just kind of a more gradual inverse, which is kind of interesting. And it makes me think that we potentially won't have a major drop when the SPY really falls through the floor and plummets. Because I've gone back and forth thinking, okay, GME is just going to rocket right when SPY goes down. Then I've thought, well, SPY will come down and GME will probably go with it initially. But now I've kind of wavered back just by seeing the most recent price action, that we might just, since it seems like it's able to do this kind of just slower inverse of the SPY, we might not drop a whole lot with the market. So as you see here, I mean, it was pretty evident. Just this inverse, and then this drop from here, and look at this. This is crazy. 1350, literally right here. See this? This is 1350, which is 150. This is 150. Huge red candle in SPY, and just rallied. Banks, Tesla, everything was just ripping. Made money on SPY calls there. Thanks, Huck. Yeah, those were 100%ers too. And then COG, shout out to COG, tomorrow's ex-dividend on SPY. So I closed out of my put credit spread. If you have a short option going into ex-dividend, that you could be called away, especially if it's near the money. And spot this new chart, this new dark, before it was over here to tell me the ex-dividend. I don't know where it is, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But anyways, looks like GME is kind of supporting or respecting this 180 moving average on the 5-minute. There's not really a line there for me on the hourly, but this little wedge we're in, I don't know what it's setting up for next week. So basically, if they didn't roll over, or if this was just a little bit of rolling over, either tomorrow is insane and we have like 200 million in volume and everybody's rolling over, or potentially they don't roll over, and that's the best news ever, because then I believe the squeeze will start, because they're not kicking the can anymore. So yeah, that's what I got. Let's go over some options. Tons of news on Reddit. It's all computer share screenshots, so that's all the news. If you want to go look at Reddit, you can see people transferring one share over, or $4 or $400 worth, or maybe even $50 worth of shares onto GME. Here are our options. Did a lot today. I don't even. This is what happens when you start telling me I can sell stuff. I just start scalping everything. Looks like they closed my VIX options, expired worthless. That's what happens. That's why I don't buy options. I'll just kind of, so SPY GME. Okay, so I came in and out of IRNT. Just a little scalp trade, lost a tiny bit. The main play actually set up for longer term is actually Ford, and Huck was laying down charts, and I checked it out for myself, and the Ford chart actually looks really nice. And oftentimes there's the market kind of rotates, so it'll rotate from value into growth, and then growth into value. Sometimes they both go, sometimes they both go down, sometimes they rotate, one goes up, one goes down. I think typically a market correction, I think the one we're going to have, probably everything will go down. But sometimes in a market correction, or while it's happening, or at the beginning or at the end, you'll see these rotations from more safe stocks to dangerous stocks, dangerous being more speculative. And it looks like I think Ford actually did have news, but at any rate, I've seen a couple of value stocks recently that have started to show signs of life, while our tech stocks have started to kind of fall over. So that's kind of that rotation, possibly from, look at that Head and Shoulders, that's beautiful. I think that's possibly a kind of a rotation into value. And then With a serious crash, it'll probably all come down, but I think the first one to come back from that also would be value. And I'd put Ford in that category of value. So yeah, this chart looks nice and bullish. I mean, had a nice run here. I don't even know some kind of pattern there, but basically 9 moving average came down, just well respected that 180 right here. I mean, basically, yeah, crazy. And we've got this divergence here on the RSI as well as the MACD down here and here. That's not a divergence. Nope, that's higher highs. So that's good too. Higher highs on the and higher lows. There was a divergence, I thought. I looked at this earlier. Anyways, yeah, bullish MACD, big green over the 9 moving average, and the fact that it's hitting this support and rallying above it, it could be good. There probably was news if you really want to know. Expands customer base, devotes 250 million, 450 workers on F1 Lightning. There's news somewhere. Wow. I don't know. There's news somewhere on there. But yeah, so that's pretty much the only main play we did. And then on GME and then SPY, just kind of flipped options a bit. Got those calls here on SPY, sold them up here. Even though I wasn't following my indicators, that was strictly price action, which helps a lot with buying premium and getting out of it. Just price action, not even because indicators are lagging. Mine are. I use lagging indicators, so technically I'd have to wait until like here if I was being strict about it, and that thing lost 50% of its premium probably from here to here. So pulled that right here. First signs of weakness. I can always get back in, right? So that was and then I also opened up a put credit spread that I ended up closing here for about 50%. On GameStop, let's see, this is this morning. Yeah, I mean, started off with pretty good price action. Nothing crazy. I had this resistance line drawn in, I think. Yeah, that old resistance. I'm like, well, if it breaks that, that's good. Big fat candle over that. I think I pulled in my calls somewhere around here and just wrote them up. They were pretty far out of the money. They were weeklies. So I don't even remember where I sold them, but I probably waited too long on them. I was too hyped. But yeah, I don't know. Made probably 400 or 500 on those calls, and then here I was like, all right, I'm gonna sell some covered calls, and I actually made the most on selling covered calls. When you have this many shares, like the amount of basically leverage you can have on selling premium is crazy. So yeah, for this drop, I sold 220. Let's see. I think, oh my gosh, it's such a mess. But sold to. Anyways, yeah, I sold like 220. Yeah, 220 calls actually what I sold here. It dropped down to here. They were up like a total like $1,400 by here because I'm selling 8 of them, and the theta and time decay, like the premiums just get sucked out of them, and I was seeing that up here. I mean, contracts were swinging like crazy. We don't have 2 days on it, so I held that till about here, and then I closed those covered calls for maybe 800 profit. This rode up. I actually bought some more calls around here, sold them around here for a little loss. I think I did that twice in this run actually. So hyped. Small losses though, maybe $100, $200, and then right here, somewhere around here, sold more covered calls and caught this whole drop, and that was another 1,000 just on covered calls. Closed that out right here before that big candle, unfortunately. But yeah, closed those covered calls out here, and all I did was basically use my shares, my shares as leverage. So what that does is, even though GME only went up 0.97% today, which my shares would reflect that, the gains we made on it were much bigger because we basically collected all that premium from selling calls. I guess you can't really see that. So yeah, that's where we have this number, which is more than I would have if it was just that percentage on shares. So typically I wouldn't flip in and out of covered calls, but GME was so volatile today, it's pretty easy. All the IB got pushed into it when it was ripping up, so the calls got expensive. So selling those calls on the way down, you could, like, the premium crush was so quick. I was just watching the 5-minute chart and just trading them in and out like that. Yeah, I heard plays working out pretty good. Might be a little too far out of the money. I'm not sure. Let's see. The calls are probably too far out. The put credit spread's legit. Probably should close that tomorrow. It's up 80%. So this one is funding that one. There's a $550 credit, and then I used some of that credit to buy these calls, which cost 176. So I do that just because well, I don't always know if it's going to be a crazy move. If I know the direction or confident in the direction, I can sell premium on it. But if it goes crazy in that direction, then I could have bought premium and made a lot more. So typically, though, it's not going to go crazy. It's going to move slow in your direction or not even move in your direction. So selling premium works. But I like to kind of do both if I think the direction's right. And this is a great case in point, one of those. Where the calls, the time decay, just because they're too far out of the money, given there's other strategies with spreads and different crazy stuff that Cog knows. But if you're trying to get ones out of money, like big, 1,000%ers or whatever, yeah, typically those never work, maybe 1 in 20 or something. So if you sell premium, you can kind of afford to have exposure then also to an infinite upside if they do go crazy. And Hood could very well go crazy. Actually, today was very mellow on Hood, which I'm surprised on. I think before those calls expire, I mean, I don't know. You really don't know. It's actually pretty flat today overall, but setting up a nice little bull flag again, respecting that 9 moving average, still bullish on the MACD. Yeah, everything looks good for it for a nice rally. I mean, the short interest on it has got to be high. The borrow fee is like 97%. There's basically no shares available. I didn't even see, actually. Let me see what it... let me see if it changed today. So it actually went down. Wow. So it went down from 92 down to... Oh, it wasn't reported, though. Yeah, look, most of today it wasn't reported, I think. Right? Yeah, in the morning it wasn't. Because I didn't have any shares. So if there's no shares available, then you just have a lapse in report. A lapse in data. And I think that's what we see right there. Yeah. Surprised the borrow fee went down, I guess. Anyways, we'll see about that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Squeeze imminent. Crash imminent. Buckle up. Peace out.